Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I would discuss what the deal is with crystals, why they're a thing, and why lots of people who are spiritual are surrounded by them. So crystals are one of those things that have become easier and easier to get your hands on, and now just about any kind of hippie shop or market, you can find crystals. You can find, tables of tumbled stones and clusters. And I know myself as a kid, I was extremely drawn to those kind of settings, like India Fox and those kind of shops are my favourite place, and I'd always run over to crystals. But now they have become easier and easier to get, and they're popular. People still buy crystals a lot because of their beauty, and let's be honest, history has shown that humans have coveted crystals, diamonds, semi-precious stones for adornment and to show wealth and prestige. And often, even today, people are drawn to crystals for their beauty, but not necessarily for their healing properties. Often that kind of happens subconsciously, where a person will be drawn to a particular stone because they love it, because it's beautiful, but they haven't actually stopped to realize that that stone has the healing properties that their subtle energy system needs, and that's why they're drawn to it. Because they're so beautiful, they're expensive, and there is a whole trade that goes into the mining of gemstones and crystals that can be unethical. So if you're going to start purchasing crystals, maybe look into where those crystals are being sourced before you buy them. So where do crystals come from? They're a semi-precious stone or a mineral that comes from the earth. So basically crystals form in the earth's crust, and they take millions of years. And really it's just the right composition of minerals in the earth, along with the right temperature and the right conditions, that creates the right pressure for those stones to grow and form. And the amount of space they're in will affect how big the clusters get. And it varies depending on where in the earth they're forming, what minerals exist in that bit of earth, and how long they're left to continue growing. Okay, so like energy healing, crystal healing or crystal therapy is a holistic treatment that helps activate your body's ability to heal itself. So science has been able to prove that crystals have a perfect internal structure of repeating patterns. They've also been able to prove that crystals emit a frequency or an electromagnetic charge, and in that way they emit a frequency that brings harmony to the environment that they're placed in, and they emit that frequency that creates a vibration. Like sound emits a vibration in the same way sound can be used for healing as well. So during a crystal healing session, a therapist will lay a person on a massage table usually, and they will select intuitively the crystals that you need to have placed upon your body to help unblock your subtle energy systems. So that's unblocking the meridians, the chakras, the aura. So because a crystal can vibrate, it emits a frequency within that space that can help shift those blockages, move the leaves out of the drain, get the flow moving again. And the therapist will really just intuitively sense where those blockages and patterns are in your energy system, and will be able to select the crystal that will carry the right properties and the right frequency to help elicit those healing properties. So keeping your crystals clear is really important because obviously they absorb energy as much as they emit a frequency. So when I lay them upon a body or in a house, I'm using them to absorb the out of balance energy, which means that that stone is then imbued with that. So clearing the stones of anything that they absorb is really important to keep them working optimally. So there are different ways you can do that. My favorite is to use sage, and I do that in a number of ways. So I have my Native American smudge sticks, and I use them to smoke a space, a person, mostly, and my crystals, obviously. And the smoke helps carry away any negativity that has been picked up by the crystals. I also get sage in a little spray bottle, which is great for environments where I can't fill the space with smoke. I'm going to set off smoke alarms. And it's just convenient to carry and have available rather than having to set that on fire. So they're two options. The other things you can use are salt. Try not to use salt water because it can damage the composition of the stone. Some stones are softer. So I just get sea salt and lay it in a little bowl and bury my stones underneath. You can also do things like visualizations where you can visualize pure light and blow it through your stones with the intention of taking any negativity out of the stone and sending it into the earth to be transmuted into pure love. Things like laying them in the sun is also really great, and popping them out on a full moon will help them absorb the lunar energy, which will imbue them with that, so the next time you use them they'll be carrying the energy of the moon as well as their own perfect crystalline energy. So there are different ways. The last way I clear my stones is by using sound. So I have things like Tibetan bells or a sound bowl. And when you ring that sound, the vibration of that frequency helps just kind of shake out any energy that the crystals have absorbed. And it's the same with using sound on the body. The vibration is what changes the frequency in your own energy field. I'm trying to think, is that the only way to clear them? I'm sure there are other ways, and your intuition will guide you into the right way. Sometimes I feel the need to pop them out in my garden, put them amongst my plants, and it feels like the energy of the earth then, helps clear the crystals and keep them running optimally. So crystals can be used in a number of ways. The easiest way I find to use them on myself is to buy them in jewelry. So things like, little quartz points that they get on a necklace, or little stones that you can get on earrings. Often you can get them put in rings. I suppose that's why people wear diamonds in their rings. You can get, they're quite easy and beautiful, expensive, but you find a lot of semi-precious stones are placed in jewelry because of their beauty. If that's how you choose to use them, then just purchase them with the intention of getting them for whatever healing you feel like you need. So when you go into that space and you're going to buy a piece of jewelry, think about what you want to change in your life, to shift, and then you will intuitively be drawn to the stone that you need. It's the same if you're going to purchase a crystal to place in your environment. Go into that space with the intention of buying it for that reason. So, I love to use a crystal in the car. It helps reduce fatigue and irritability and can just keep the vibrations and the frequency high, which is important because when you're driving, you want to stay alert. Placing crystals around the home, not only are they beautiful, but they just help emit that beautiful calm frequency, which can clear the energy in your space, especially after there's been arguments or hostility or any sort of struggle. Crystals can bring a higher frequency that can shift those things from your life. Creating sacred spaces with crystals is one of my favorite things to do. So having them around me when I meditate, using them in crystal grids when I'm trying to manifest or send intention is really useful. The other easy way to carry crystals is to just buy the little tumbled stones at the store when you see them and you're drawn to them, and just pop them in a pocket. Like most girls, stick everything down their bra. Sometimes I pop one, just there because it's easy to carry around, and I know that the frequency of that crystal will be close to my body throughout the day. But it's also important to make sure you don't overuse them. If you're wearing crystals every day, you are taking them off and clearing their energy. And you give yourself a break from it too every now and again. You don't want your system to become reliant on it, and it almost becomes moot. It stops working to a point where if you have them on every day and you're not clearing them, they just start to get heavy and stagnant. So it's important to change it up every now and again, keep them clear, keep the energy high in your crystals. So crystals are one of those things that you kind of see every person in a spiritual realm wears crystals or carries crystals or has crystals in their home. For me, crystals came into my life when I was a kid because my dad was into fossicking, and he used to have a little gem box full of all his stones that he had fossicked and tumbled, and they were in different stages of being cleaned and polished, and he would make them into jewelry and sell them at markets. And I mean, I was in love with him, and whether he had any understanding of the healing properties of crystals or not, but just their wealth and their beauty, I have no idea, and he's not around for me to ask anymore. But I used to sit and be enamored by their beauty. And as I got older, I was really into history, and when I discovered that, you know, things like Tutankhamun's death mask were inlaid with, you know, lapis lazuli and different beautiful semi-precious stones, made me question these ancient traditions, and were they using those stones purely for their beauty, or were they using them for their sacred properties? And I mean, if you go back far enough in history, ancient cultures have used crystals as far back as can be imagined. And a lot of those ancient cultures viewed them as gifts from spirit, gifts from Mother Earth, to bring those healing properties to their people. So I think there's something that should really be, I suppose, enamored, but not just for their beauty, for their ability to take care of us. They're another gift from the earth, another natural property. But in that sense, we also have to be careful because, like everything, humans are very quickly destroying our earth. And, you know, we take too much and give back too little to Mother Nature. And I think if crystals are your path and that's what you're into, then go into it ethically minded. Think about where they're being mined and the treatment of people, because those crystals will absorb the energy of anything unethical that has happened in the process of them being obtained. So go into it ethically minded. Be aware of where you're buying your crystals and where they're coming from in the world, and also be cautious, because there are some places that'll just sell you beautiful coloured bits of glass and tell you it's a piece of quartz. So just be aware, be mindful, and feel it. Just get a sense when you purchase a crystal. You'll know when you're drawn to it, and you're not just drawn to it for its beauty, whether or not it feels right. Trust those instincts, and good luck on your crystal journey, because they can change your life.